This episode is sponsored by Carly Rae Jepsen dropping the B-sides.
This episode is also brought to you by Jaquan's hit song, Tipsy. This is Sorry for the Wait, folks. Here we go. Fired up, ready to go. Welcome to the show, folks. This is Sorry for the Wait, a weight loss podcast for regular people by regular people. I am your host, Seth.
And I'm your host, Strawberry.
And Barry, it's a great day to be alive.
It is.
It's a great day to be alive. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
You know, we're coming off the bonus episode.
Yeah, and people love that,
Yeah.
and we love that you loved it.
Yeah, we kind of went out on a limb with that, going long form with Strawberry, the comeback kid.
I had fun with it.
It's been really, really well received, and we had a blast doing it, which was the most important thing. So we're really, really excited about that because that could pave the way for future bonus episodes, you know. And but hey, it's been weird because with the big goof and then the bonus episode. You know, it's episode 10. We're 10 episodes in. I guess 11 if you count the bonus episode.
Yeah, and I definitely do count it.
Yeah, no, I certainly count it. It's your arc, but I mean, we're chugging all along. You know,
it's crazy that we've already hit 10.
I know, it's kind of nuts that here we are, and just how massive the audience has been so far, and just all the support. And so, for everyone out there listening, thank you
Now,
1,000 times over. But what?
Before
What's
we
up?
get into our weeks, I have a little bit of a submission question for you.
Really, for the intro?
Yeah, well, one of our friends asked me a question that I really didn't know how to relate to at all, and he said, you guys should talk about what's the weirdest or the grossest thing you guys have ever eaten out of. And I was like, what do you mean eaten out of? And he explained, he was like, you know, like if you eat something out of a shoebox or something.
Interesting.
And I was like, what have you eaten out of a shoebox? And he told me he used to eat like Funyuns out of a shoebox.
Like just dump the whole bag of Funyuns into the shoebox
and just like eat right from there.
Like, these are my Nike Funk Dunks. Like,
yeah, and I don't know. Usually when it comes to fat culture, I'm pretty on the up and up about like what people do, how people eat. But I've never really eaten out of like a shoebox or anything like that. I usually just stick to plates and bowls. Have you ever had any experiences eating out of something weird or gross?
Here's the thing.
Oh, God.
Okay. No, and I don't know if this is necessarily so bad.
Okay.
But Barry, you know I love ice cream.
Okay.
And sometimes
yes, you do love ice cream.
And sometimes in my olden days, like one Ben & Jerry's pint wasn't enough.
Okay.
You know, like
I'm feeling you because I agree.
Sometimes you just gotta mix like the Cherry Garcia with the New York Super Fudge Chunk, you know?
Ooh, that's a good combo.
Sometimes you gotta do it. I am not proud of this. I hate that I have something for this. I'm so jealous
happy
that you
have
don't.
something for this.
One time, I bought a couple Ben & Jerry's pints. I'm gonna.
How many? If you had to put a number on it.
Fucking A, man. This is embarrassing. Okay, I bought 3. Okay.
Okay.
3 from a gas station. Okay. It was Cherry Garcia, New York Super Fudge Chunk, and Peanut Butter Cup. Okay.
Okay.
Like, there wasn't really like a bowl that, like, I don't know, like I didn't want to compound them on top of each other.
Right. No, classic rookie mistake.
So I take these 3 pints and I might have like eaten them out of a Frisbee. I might have.
Was this a clean Frisbee?
Yeah, Barry, I washed it beforehand, but like I was just like
Dish soap?
Yeah, no, I washed it like thoroughly. I'm not joking because
Okay.
like I was just like in my mind I was like this is gonna
the
work.
perfect size.
Yeah, you know, so like at some times you're just tossing the B, and then other times you're eating that ice cream. Like, and I did that. I threw away the Frisbee because I even kind of knew right after I looked at it that I was like, I don't ever want to look at this thing again. And here we are. So thanks for bringing that memory back. I really appreciate that.
How old were you when you did that? Was this an adult Seth thing or a child Seth thing or a teen Seth thing?
I want to say I was a junior in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I can blame it on my stupidity of youth.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That's what I'm going to go with. And
Sure.
I'm definitely not going to think about this the rest of the day. So
I think that tops the shoebox with Funyuns.
yeah, I think it does. And now I feel so embarrassed. But you know what? This is where we share because this is where we care. Okay. So how was your week?
It's been pretty good. Just a follow up to where I was a couple of weeks ago. I was asking about intermittent fasting. And so I've started to try and incorporate that into my daily routine.
Yeah.
I'm a very early riser, as you know.
Yeah, you are.
So I will usually like stay in bed until like 7 and then I'll get up. But usually I'll be up for a few hours by then.
There are some times when you're up around 5.
Yeah. I rise with the sun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I've kind of started to limit myself to eating between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m.
And so how do you feel about that in terms of sustainability?
I feel like it's definitely sustainable for now. I expect that like as things change throughout like my life and my schedule, like maybe I'll have to change the window.
Modify it a little bit.
Yeah.
But your thinking is mainly like get your meals almost out of the way, like because you are a night snacker or you were a night snacker.
Yeah, I was a big night snacker, but the thing is I go to bed fairly early now, like usually between 9 and 10. Sometimes
we're old men sometimes.
Sometimes I'll be a real crazy kook and I'll stay up till 11. But, you know, if you get me up till midnight, that's something special. And so to me right now, like eating anytime after like 6 or 7 p.m., like I'm just not giving myself a lot of time to like digest that or burn that off. I just like go to sleep and it sits with me.
Yeah.
So I kind of would rather eat on the earlier side of the day.
And this is something totally new for you, like totally new to try, especially us who are seasoned eaters who love to eat at all times of the day.
And let me tell you, it is very hard as somebody who likes to snack like in the afternoons and at night, like cutting myself off at 3.
Yeah.
Like last night, there was a point where I wanted to just have some Cheerios as like a snack, but I was like hard on myself. I was like, no, you can't let yourself cheat now because if you're cheating the first like week you're doing it, you're not going to get.
I think that's a good point. Like establishing those habits early, like establishing the habits of if you are going to try a program out, try it out.
Well, because a lot of people reached out to me after I talked about it on the pod a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that was kind of common among everybody was like it's very hard the first couple of weeks, but like once you get into it, like it's easier.
Yeah, it's kind of like the shakes a little bit. Like once you get over that hump, then it's kind of second nature. So that's good. It's good that you're trying something that you would never think that you would have tried before.
Yeah. So how's your week going?
Pretty good. I mean, since our schedule got a little wonky, I mean, like we're kind of 2 weigh-ins from like the last time we recorded, or like from the last time since 9 a little bit, and so I'm down in that time another 6 pounds. So I am at 106.5, which is appreciate. Yes, thank you kindly. You know, it's been good. Again, same thing with the numbers. Like I'm just gonna kind of keep it going and keep trucking along and doing my thing. But the big thing is that like I'm now back in the office and I'm starting to find my footing. Like being back in the office, you know what I mean? Like,
well, how is it like kind of quarantining at home and losing a lot of this weight and then seeing a lot of your coworkers that haven't seen you in months and now you're like a new Seth?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's awesome. Like it's great because like my coworkers care about me very, very much, and like where I work during my day job, it's a very, very tight knit group. Like we're very close. We all care about each other and we're investing in each other's well being, and so the entire company was just thrilled for me, and that's a great feeling. I mean, it's like you don't have to feel bad for people being happy for you.
Yeah.
Which used to kind of freak me out a little bit beforehand, like when I lost weight the first time, because when people start like telling you like you're doing great, it does put a lot of pressure on you.
And how do you feel about the pressure now?
I mean, my mind is so clear now because I've been getting mental health professional help. And so it's helped me put in perspective a lot of different things. And so it makes me feel a lot better when I can receive those compliments and not add any other motives behind them, in a sense. Like it feels a lot better. And so now I'm kind of just picking up my routine back in the office, and it's nice. And everyone's super supportive too, which is like really nice. But the one thing that's so tough is when we're quarantined, I can just go basketball shorts, like T-shirt, do my thing. Like, I don't have to worry about now trying to like find like the clothes that.
Are you wearing like the 3 X's that you used to
No,
wear to
because
the
like
office?
those are like a goddamn parachute, man. Like you put a ceiling fan on and I'm out the door. Like like, but right now it's just like I kind of look through my clothes and I'm like, can this pass for work? And like we're very casual, like at our workplace. Like I could roll up in pajamas if I really wanted to, but come on.
You gotta have a little
Yeah. And
there.
so like I'm just like digging out clothes and I'm like, is this fit yet? Nope, not yet. Does this fit? Okay, this is passable. And so like that's a tough thing. But you know what? It has been a really good week. But you know what? I'm sitting at my work desk and I'm just thinking, man, I'm craving some stuff.
Oh yeah, you craving some stuff?
I'm craving some stuff, baby.
Well then let's get right into craving of the week.
So another craving of the week, we have our first fan submission for craving of the week. Our first fan submission that came in from listener Kev in Portugal.
Oh, Portugal.
Kevin in Portugal. So Kev sent in, I kind of want to lead off with his because this is the inaugural fan submission craving of the week. And we've gotten so many submissions from people and we're really, really happy about it. So keep submitting. Keep going.
We love seeing like all the different ideas and sometimes we look at these cravings and
we go,
make me hungry.
Yeah,
too,
exactly. So
which is exactly what it's there for.
And so Kev sent in that he wants a couch cushion lasagna.
Ooh.
He wants an entire lasagna the size of a couch cushion, medium-sized couch cushion, you know, like your standard couch cushion, because we're very hyperbolic. Like, we're going from Viking ship to swimming pool
to Captain America's shield.
Yeah, exactly.
A Pez dispenser for Oreos.
Kev said that he wants a couch cushion of lasagna because he knows that it's just for him. Lasagna is a very Italian family sharing kind of dish.
Yeah, but a
For
sofa
him?
seat, that's
No.
one person sits on the seat.
Dude, this thing is Garfield's fever dream. Like, it is. You're like, could you just imagine just an actual couch cushion? And I'm gonna just imagine that it's in the couch for the sake of the argument.
I was really hoping you wouldn't go there because I just cleaned the apartment like last week, and let me tell you, couch cushions are no place for food.
Right, and like, but like, imagine if like that's the only place it could go. Like, there's no dish that could hold it, so it's just like it's got to go on the couch, man. I don't know what to tell you. Bon appetit, and then he just goes, and you kind of have to get down on one knee and I guess just shovel it into your mouth, and
You gotta
then
stay away from the sides too.
Right,
You don't want all that.
And God forbid, Bear. God forbid that it's a family gathering too, and dear Aunt Sally is just popping a squat, right? Just going full Hollywood mold right in the lasagna, dude. I know, because like that. I'm gonna be honest, Barry. In no time has anyone ever sat in my lasagna and it's tasted the same afterwards.
Well, I also just feel like the picture of somebody eating the lasagna like from the couch, definitely like there's nowhere to sit to like really get a good angle on this.
Right,
You're just
exactly.
like kneeling very awkwardly in front of the couch.
Please, Sam, have some more. Like just kind of, and then someone's like, "What are you doing over there?" And you're, "Don't worry about it. I'm eating my meal. You go back to the table." But I actually think that that's a very practical craving to limit the size to the couch cushion so you know you can finish it.
Yeah.
You know, I do like that. But what about, so thank you, Kev.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And folks, please keep sending your
Maybe I should
cravings.
get lasagna.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm craving. But what are you craving this week?
So this week, I am really craving pumpkin pie.
Interesting. Okay.
And specifically, I want this pumpkin pie to be like a tiered wedding cake size pumpkin pie.
So just layers on
Layers.
layers on layers.
And yeah, you can put layers of like crust to like break it up so you can like cut slices.
Well, I kind of
But,
like that.
At the end of the day, the important part is that the icing is just frozen whipped cream and it doesn't have a season.
Now, are you putting like yourself on top, like a little mannequin of you on top, like with two arms up, like Rocky, being like, "This is my pumpkin pie"?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's almost like a holy matrimony of you and pumpkin pie.
And if you can make that thing edible, let's go for it.
So you know the thing with pumpkin pie, like it's funny because like I could eat pumpkin pie kind of like all year round. You know what I mean? Like I can, but there's something about a crisp fall day, like that Thanksgiving kind of feel where pumpkin pie really just knocks you for a loop.
Oh, see, I'm pumpkin pie 365.
Yeah, and so am I. Maybe it's just like the atmosphere of the holiday of like Thanksgiving, where it's just like when I have pumpkin pie around Thanksgiving, I could, like, I don't know, I just feel like I could smear that all over my pores and let it set in.
I do love that time of the year when like everybody brings out their pumpkin spice and I just get to become like a basic bitch for a little bit.
Because that's what you live for.
Oh yeah, the pumpkin spice.
You live for that pumpkin spice. So that's a good one. I do like that. I like the tiered wedding cake aspect to it too.
Yeah,
it
needs
can't
to
just
be
be
massive.
It can't be that regular shit.
No,
That's not what Sorry for the Wait does.
No, we don't go. We go big or we go home.
Exactly, and most of the time, even when we go big, afterwards we still go home.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
So, do you have a craving of the week? What's your craving this week?
Very, I do, and I'm going to take you back to my childhood. Okay.
Ooh.
So, I want you to just kind of think, right, of a great place that you would go with your family, and this is going to kind of give you a curveball, but it has a big mouse as their mascot, but not Disneyland.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so I'm just imagining when I was a little kid playing in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
You know, because like that was just a good memory. Besides all like the piss in there, probably. But here's the thing, Bear, is that I want a Chuck E. Cheese sized ball pit of Reese's Puffs.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I have been just craving those puffs for a minute, and I just like, I want to fill it with chocolate milk, obviously.
Oh,
chocolate milk.
No other way to
Reese's
go.
Puffs. Because for me, like everyone's always like, but if you put regular milk, then the peanut butter. No. Like I'm putting chocolate milk in my cereal 10 times out of 10 if it's in my house. Like, you know, like if I ever have cereal, it's like even Fruity Pebbles, I'll give it a shot, man. No, don't knock it till you try it. But like a ball pit of Reese's Puffs that I could just kind of breaststroke my way through. Like it's so calming to me. I feel like I could just float in there.
You know, you probably could have floated before, but I think your floating days are over.
Yeah, I know. Who knows? Who knows if I'm as buoyant anymore as I used to be. But it's like Reese's Puffs are such a staple for me. Like I know that they are like a top tier
Anything
cereal.
with the word Reese's is
usually
for
a 9 out of 10. Yeah, especially for me. Like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And like the two cereals, obviously, that like I will ride or die for are Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like always.
Okay.
I'm
definitely with you on the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But just in the ball pit, no one's allowed my ball pit, dude. No one's allowed. I used to be
I feel like once somebody starts like swimming around in that chocolate milk, it's gonna get all gross. Like you got to make sure that
yeah, I got to keep that shit on lock. Like I need to make sure,
especially if you're doing a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those are not known for cleanliness.
Yeah, and like the animatronic band.
Didn't Chuck E. Cheese just go out of business or something?
No, they tried to rebrand to this thing called like Pasquale's because they were like nobody will notice. And like everyone was like, it's the same address as Chuck E. Cheese, and they were like selling takeout out of a Chuck E. Cheese, but just with a different branding because everyone's like, you suck at pizza. Play the animatronic band that gives me nightmares, and then people just left. But I don't know. I'm a big cereal guy, even though I know that cereal just has close to zero nutritional value. But Reese's Puffs, I'll always make an exception for.
It is hard because when I go down the aisle, I always get some cereal, and it's usually some sort of Cheerios because I'm trying to be healthy. But then, like, looking at all the other cereals, the cereal aisle is something else. Like, everything is just...
Life comes at you fast in the cereal aisle.
I could spend all day there.
So yeah, and those are, I mean, I think we had some solid cravings this week. And Kev, thank you again, folks. Keep submitting, but we're going to bring back a segment that we haven't done in a while that I'm actually very excited for. So, folks, we're bringing you Lifestyles of the Big and Famous.
Every time we say that, I think of the song.
The Good Charlotte song?
Yeah.
Like, Lifestyles of the Rich. Yeah.
Of the Rich and the Famous.
Yeah, so hopefully there's no best efforts lawsuit coming our way for that. But you know what? I think we're fine.
It's okay. I'm allowed to butcher songs.
Yeah, you are. You know what? You're allowed to do whatever you want within reason. So, folks, for those who don't remember Lifestyles of the Big and Famous, we go over larger-than-life figures in the entertainment industry, the music industry, just celebrating big life. Let's celebrate some big life, Barry.
I'm very excited.
You want me to lead it off, or you want to lead it off?
I'll start. So my pick this week was somebody who I think has a body type that, even though we talk about larger-than-life people, this body type does get very underrepresented. And it's Danny DeVito.
Ooh, Frank Reynolds himself. You're going with
Danny DeVito.
Penguin. That is a really, really good one. Ooh. So please enlighten me as to what Danny DeVito means to you.
So Danny DeVito, I mean, all you have to do is look at him to see that he is not like made to be this like Hollywood actor.
Right.
But he has built such a very successful career.
And very precise career.
Yeah. And using his body type to his advantage instead of letting, I guess, the fear of that keep him from doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, so like him as the Penguin in Batman Returns is like
Oh, it's an all-time role.
Yeah, that was great.
And then obviously.
And then obviously It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where honestly, like when you talk about like kings of physical comedy, like he is up there with that.
There is a scene where Frank Reynolds just climbs out of the couch.
I was just gonna tell you about that. I was gonna talk about that one.
Oh my god!
And
dude.
he's butt ass naked. Like he literally got sewn inside of a leather couch just to like eavesdrop on people who were talking shit about him. And then he like just protrudes like the alien like coming out of your stomach, like protrudes naked from the couch. And it's just like, fuck all of you.
Could you imagine them being like, cut, Danny, like one more time. Just one
I would have
more.
kept him doing that all day. It
But,
would
like,
never stop being funny.
And like, I wonder if he just goes into these roles where he's just like, anything goes. Because on It's Always Sunny, like anything really does go. Like,
Yeah.
And like Frank just always has like those hilarious, like the rum ham bit, dude, is just rum ham. And I just wonder if like Glenn Howerton and Rob McElhenney like brought him in and were just like, what won't you do?
It is crazy to me that they went an entire season without Frank on that show.
Right.
Because like the show just like so needs Frank there.
And you know what I really like about Danny DeVito, at least from the stories that like I've read,
Such a nice guy.
Right. Like just that very like in that same nice category as like Steve Carell or somebody where like it's so easy to be like, I showed all of you. Like I showed all of you that I could do it and then be pretty pretentious about it. But he just seems like just regular old guy who's just a nice dude.
And like he also strikes me as the kind of person who like had enough of a career like between the 80s and the 90s and like the early 2000s. Like he could have just kind of like
Faded.
stopped
Yeah.
and like lived the rest of his life the way he wanted to. But I just think it's so cool that like there was the sitcom that went on for a season and he was like, you know what, I like this. I kind of want to be a part of this.
Right.
And like just went into it and does it because it's fun. He doesn't do it for the fame or the money because he's already got that.
Right.
He's just having a good time and like being just fucking hilarious.
And I also think that just the way he presents himself, like, and the way that you read about him as a good guy lets him get away with some of the stuff that goes on and It's Always Sunny. Like when
Honestly, that's a show that I'm so glad hasn't been canceled, and it's just absurd to me that they've made it this far. But it is one of the funniest.
I keep thinking
shows.
I keep thinking about like when the piano almost look out, and then they have to debate who gets the scratch ticket.
Yeah.
And Frank is just it's so funny. That's a really, really good one. And an out there one. Like one that you would never normally.
Yeah, because I feel like when we talk about like overweight people, I mean, you know, nobody thinks
It's
of
not
Danny
the first
DeVito
thing that you
because,
think of with Danny DeVito.
You know?
I really like
But,
that.
yeah. So who's your lifestyle of the big and famous?
My pick for this week or for this time around, the sun that we're doing this, I guess, is I'm going with somebody in the music industry again.
Okay.
I'm going with rapper Twista.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
So rapper Twista, I mean, you've got slow jams. You've got overnight
Some old school
celebrity.
Kanye.
And then you also have like a song called Get It Wet. Yikes. Just yikes, dude. Like that, the early 2000s rap, like they were just like, yeah, name it whatever you want. I don't give a shit. And
Yeah.
they just
A lot of that
threw it
didn't-
on out there.
Didn't
you know?
age well.
But the thing, Barry, here is this, like, here's the thing with grotesque song titles, okay? Because this is important. Like, when you have a song called Get It Wet, you're not going to get me on that, man. Like, you're not.
Like, that's not a song you're going to sing in the car, in the shower, or
Yeah.
anything like, well, maybe in the shower.
Like, I don't know. You're in the back of a Toyota Corolla, and I'm like, hey, Steve, give me the aux. What are you going to play? Get It Wet? Like, no one's going to take me seriously after
No.
that. Like, it's almost like Akon's I Want to Fuck You, you know? Like, cause,
Ooh.
like, and then they were like, we're not putting this on the radio. And he's like, I want to love you. And you're like, oh my God, Akon, thank you for clearing that up.
Well, that also reminds me of, I think it was like Enrique Iglesias when he came out with that song, I think with like maybe Pitbull, where it was like, Tonight I'm Fucking You, or it was with
Right.
Usher. And it's like, okay, you didn't really need that.
And like, I know it's like a little bit of a tangent here, like a little bit of a digression, but like there are some creepy song titles out there. Clay Aiken had that song Invisible, where he talked about being a fly on a girl's room.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Remember
Clay Aiken, no.
remember the whole thing with blurred lines?
Yeah, blurred lines.
I wasn't a fan of that song when it was popular, so I was kind of like glad that I was
like
vindicated
I'm a
by
big Pharrell guy
falling
too,
off.
and I was just like, man, this didn't really hit the mark. But
I
back to
know you want it.
back to Twista though. Okay, the thing with big people, Barry, is that we are perpetually out of breath.
Yes.
You send your boy up one flight of stairs, and I'm like, whew, give me a minute. Like, that's how it goes for us bigs.
Absolutely.
You know, we're always out of breath. So therefore, for Twisted to be able to rap that fast, like he has, it's almost like
that is insane breath control.
You can't imitate that. Like, it takes a talent to be able to imitate and recite his songs. And so for him to be able to just hop in the booth, I always like imagine him having one of those like rollaway oxygen tanks that they give people like who smoked for one too many years. Like,
quick, stock up on the oxygen. You're going on stage.
right, exactly. And he just like takes like the face mask and and then just keeps going. And I was always so impressed by that. And like, I do wonder when Twista went on tour, right?
Yeah.
And he would go and just, because like it's one thing to record this in a studio session,
Right, because
you know?
there's always that studio magic.
But like Twista's on tour, you know that boy be sweaty. Like he's got the white tee. He doesn't even have a white towel. He's got a white t-shirt over the shoulder to just kind of dab. You know,
We've all been there.
we've all been there. I have those t-shirts still, but he's on stage and he's crushing it because he probably crushed it. Never got to see him in concert, probably for the best. But here's the thing now is that he's crushing it. He's doing all of his songs, and then finally he's like, "Have a good night, everybody. Get home safe. Tip your waitress." Like, and he just leaves. Does he collapse immediately when he gets in the green room? I'm not joking. Does he?
I mean, I feel like that's something that like performers definitely hone over time, because like anytime I've seen like a documentary about someone like, or even I think about like kind of watching Lizzo sometimes on stage, and like her breath control has gotten very good if you look at more of her recent performances
Right.
compared to her old ones. And I think that definitely, like, when you start off as a big person, like if you're singing or you're rapping or you're doing anything like that, I mean, it's going to take a while before your body is kind of used to.
Right, before you
or
hone
you're-
that craft. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And sort of like sharpen that skill.
I feel by now Twista's got to be a pro.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Like-
and like, I mean, I'm not like, I mean, we can be facetious here and say that he probably didn't pass out. Like,
Yeah,
when-
no.
But like, if that were me, like in any time, like if I get away from people, I am just like, I'm gonna lay down for I'm gonna take a quick 10 in the green room, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's passed out for 3 hours, but then you wake up for the party.
Also, like it does get like hot and stuffy when you're under stage lights that long. So like that.
Yeah, that
probably
too.
compounds to
And
make
like
it,
you're moving
harder.
around on stage, and just the ability, like, you know how there are just some things you can't do two of some things at one time. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't really multitask in certain areas on some things. For him to work a crowd and be rapping that fast, like,
I feel like the adrenaline definitely helps push you through.
well, it's like going 60 miles an hour on a bike. Think of it like one false move, and you're screwed.
Yeah.
And I always wonder with his lyrics of like how many studio sessions, like how many recording sessions was he like right at the end, and he kind of flubbed one line, and now you have to kind of go back and like either
yeah.
restart the song or restart the verse, but you had it, you were right there. But so that's super impressive to me. Like that's a very impressive talent for somebody of that size. And also, I just think that
Absolutely.
Overnight Celebrity is a banger, and so is Slow Jams, obviously. And so that's
How
my
about
pick.
Get It Wet?
You know, I'm gonna pass on Get It Wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just yikes.
It's okay. I'm with you there.
So that's another lifestyles of the big and famous. And now we're gonna move on into our main topic of the day. What's our main topic of the day?
Our main topic of the day is the ideal weight calculator.
Huh.
Now, if you're somebody who's spent a lot of time fixating on your weight, you've probably stumbled upon this at some point through the internet. Just this big ideal weight calculator that lets you put in your height, your weight, your gender, your age, and
like
you
your
know,
activity level and stuff.
and it tells you like, here's what's healthy for you. And
Right. And it tells you like what you should weigh. And so just the opening thought on this, right?
mm-hmm.
I hate this.
I tend to agree with that.
I hate anything of an ideal weight calculator. And the internet is a beautiful, incredible place. But the internet is also a toxic hellhole place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this falls definitely into the innermost circle of hell in Dante's Inferno. You know, this is just so, I don't know. We stumbled across this. Like,
yeah, this was
it was on Calculator.
I think,
Yeah, it was on calculator.net because we were looking at something else.
and they had a ton of other calculators.
A ton
too.
of different calculators. So on this page for the ideal weight calculator, which I can't stand. I just don't like it. There were 4 medical professionals who came up with they plugged in their own formulas, which make up the calculator. And so when you get your results, you get the results in these 4 formulas. So it's Robinson, Miller, Divine, and Hammer. Okay? These 4 right now, okay? If I was to type my weight in, or if I was to type in, my weight, my age, and my height, do you want to know what my ideal weight is?
What is it?
Robinson, 152.3.
Mm-hmm.
Miller, 151.9. Divine, 155.9. Hammer, 159.4.
Yeah, I did the same calculator, and it told me that my ideal weight, they ranged from like 155 to 165.
Barry, if we were 155,
that's too much.
A neighbor could sneeze on us and we'd end up in New Hampshire, dude. Like, we are getting tossed into the stratosphere, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just, it's insane to me. And this is where the problem of the internet is like, we all want to just know, like, what am I supposed to do? And then we read some of these things. If I looked at this 6-7 months ago, and I want to know what you would have felt too. If I had looked at this 6-7 months ago, it would have destroyed me.
Yeah, I would have felt like garbage, because I would have immediately looked at that number and known that would require me losing literally half my body weight, and that I couldn't do it.
Right. And
like that would be a non-starter for me.
Could you imagine somebody telling me, "Hey Seth, you need to go from 350 to 155." What? You want me to lose 195, dog? Like, and not even that. Like, I don't know. This just goes back to, you never walk around with your weight tattooed on your forehead.
Right.
Right? Like, and I think we think that that's the case so much. We think that our weight is so symbolic to us that everybody knows it at all times.
Right.
And I really just, like, it's nice to have that breakthrough. Like, that breakthrough, I think, is one of the most necessary breakthroughs of weight loss, is that not basing it off of a specific number on the scale, but how are you feeling?
Right. And I feel like I feel like I have a problem in some ways with the way that obesity and overweight is really defined with a lot of these, because I think that plays a lot into it. Like, if you were 5'10" and weighed 180 pounds, you're considered overweight.
Right.
Like, to me, like, maybe that's on the higher end, but like I don't care. That's not overweight.
Yeah,
and you need to have a little bit more leeway for the fact that, like, you know, what does it mean to be healthy? Is anybody like 5'10", 180, and is that like a major health problem for them?
Right, exactly. Especially because we're so constantly told, right, as big people when we're growing up, that the bigger you are, the more risk you are for health problems. The bigger you are, the more you're at risk for heart disease. Like, and all these things that you're just like, that starts it, where you're just like, well, I need to be the smallest number possible, because then I'll be okay.
And I think the other thing that goes with that is that it kind of like puts this emphasis on like the skinny, you know, where it's like, if you have that skinny body type, that's the good thing. And there's nothing wrong with that body type, but like, most people who are a healthy body type aren't their ideal weight according to any of these people. Right. Muscular people can be considered overweight. Yeah, we have friends who weigh probably around the same amount as us, but like, it's all muscle.
Right.
Like, they're not overweight or obese.
Right.
They're just shredded.
And if they put their base stats into this, they'd be like, you need to drop like 50 pounds, which is absurd.
And that's where all of the science behind this stuff like completely just like falls apart, because it's like, look, you can't say just like by knowing these pieces of information that like I'm obese when like this person has the same.
Right, because it's up to a medical professional who I'm seeing in person to make the call of how healthy or unhealthy am I. And I think a big thing with this to note, because you can just stumble onto it on the internet. It's like one of the top search results if you type in like, what should I weigh, or like ideal weight, like all this stuff. These formulas: Robinson's 1983, Miller 1983, Divine 74, Hammer 64. You're talking about a whole different time of size of American people, or people in the world,
right,
for that time. Like, especially because we've just learned so much that health and medical science just it changes over time, where just some things that worked well back then don't work as well now.
Or we just have a better understanding for like what certain like things really mean.
Right, exactly. And I just think that anytime that you're going to look for an ideal weight calculator, or just an answer on the internet of like, how much should I weigh? I am this, this, and this. You're already in your own head.
It reminds me of being a little gay boy on the internet in like 5th grade, and I would like type in like the gay test. Like, are you gay? and it would ask you questions, and it would be like, do you like the color pink? And
Oh,
like
and
and shit like that, and then it would be like, you're gay.
Yeah, it was made by a 6-year-old.
Or
yeah.
it would be like, you're 76% gay, and it's like, okay, but like the only question that you needed to ask was, do you like boys?
Right.
Like,
it was a 1-question quiz. But it's so interesting because this is like my thinking throughout my program, right? Is that I told myself from the start, we're not looking at a number. We're looking at a range. Okay? Like I have a range that I want to be between. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people might say that like it's too wide of a range. Some people might say that I shouldn't need a range, but like I want to live between like 190 and 210 or 190, 205. Like that's where I kind of want to live.
right.
You know what I mean? Like I would be perfectly content like at 200, but not because I'm 200, but because I remember how I felt at like being able to be that athletic. And I think now that I'm doing it more in the right way this time around, that I think that number could serve as a good point to kind of maintain in. Like I don't ever want to be in a position anymore that when I get to or achieve my goals and then I go to set new ones, I don't ever want to be at a point where like I'm checking in on my weight and I'm up 3 pounds and it ruins my day.
Yeah.
Ever again. I can't have that.
That's always that's kind of been one of the things that's made me nervous, like going through this whole process, is because I know so many people, especially from camp, that have had so many problems with like just mental problems with dealing with their weight, you know, eating disorders and
Right,
things
because
like that.
it's just
And
as
it
much
does-
about the mental.
And it does scare me that like I don't want to put so much stock into like these numbers and these different things that like it's gonna create this need or this drive to like always be hitting these numbers.
It's
It felt very liberating when I gained weight a couple months ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I felt fine. I wasn't like I
Yeah,
was
you were
disappointed, but
upset.
I wasn't like inconsolable.
it didn't derail you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Because for me, like especially back when like I had gotten to my goal and then I would check in on my weight and I remember one specific week I was up 0.6 and it ruined me. I didn't give myself a cheat day.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I was just like, nope. And it was even more worrisome because I wasn't eating at the time. But your body adjusts. Like you can't starve yourself because your body will eventually adjust and it just becomes harder and harder and harder. And so I remember seeing up 0.6 and it ruined me. It ruined me for a couple of days. And so now that like you have to focus on the mental just as much as the physical, it's nice to come back around and just enjoy the process as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective with it, honestly, like the ideal weight for me isn't really a weight. For me, it's all about like I would rather be 250 and happy with myself than be 200 and feel like miserable because I wanted to be 195.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the big thing. Because could you imagine could you imagine like if people spoke about how much they think about their number?
Yeah.
Like I think about it all the time. Like if I had gone around like, hey Seth, how you doing? I'm 190. I'm 190. I just wanted to know how you were doing. 190. And then I can start the conversation like that.
Right.
Like I do wonder if that's the focus that should be, if that's the thing we should be focusing on the most, is more of the mental aspect and just learning how to not stress as much.
Yeah, I feel like once you take care of your mental issues, your physical issues will follow suit.
Yeah, because I think they absolutely go hand in hand. However, I did kind of mess around with making a new calculator.
Oh, did you?
In just kind of like things that I thought should be added into the calculator. You mind if I play it you?
I kind of want to try this and see what my ideal weight is.
Yeah.
According to the Williams calculator.
Okay. One, how do you feel at your current weight?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. All right. So you're feeling pretty good.
Is this like a 1 to 5 scale or just like
No. Just I'm gonna open response it and then I'm gonna throw it into like Jarvis. And he'll help me out. Jarvis, thank you, Jarvis. Thank you, Tony Stark, for giving me Jarvis. I rebuilt him. Are you a nice person?
I like to think I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. You know what? I would agree with that. I think you're
you.
a pretty nice guy. I think you're a swell chap.
Thank you. I'm always feeling swell.
Okay. Those are the two questions. You know what it spit out?
What?
Whatever you're most comfortable at.
Right.
Whatever you're most comfortable at, in which your doctors tell you that you are in a healthy range that is free of risk of health problems.
Okay, I like that.
And I think
cover all your bases.
I think that's a good calculator. Now, though, the bullies, I think the bullies that we might have dealt with, or the bullies that we may have dealt with even into like our adulthood, people who just poked fun at us, I think every time you poke a little fun at somebody for their weight, plus 10 pounds. Just a little plus 10 action.
Just like add 10 pounds onto them.
Yeah. Instantaneously. Like somebody just comes out, boop, and then just plus 10.
If karma was that instant, I think people would be a lot nicer in general.
I do too, honestly.
Could you imagine if people had like if your looks were dependent on how you were as a person?
Right. Yeah.
We're getting into a whole other tangent
that's a
here,
whole other.
that's
But
a whole
what
other
a
thing to
universe
unwrap.
that would be, right? It would just be. But I'm being facetious there. But I mean, because it should never be seen as a punishment,
right?
To weigh more. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly
that's like the exact opposite of what we hear.
That's
about.
exactly what we're trying to combat. But you do get wrapped up in these calculators and in these things, and it's just not. It's not worth the.
It's not worth the sweat.
It's not worth the real estate in your brain. Carve that out for things that you care about and things that you're passionate about. And so
it's a great website though if you want to find your mortgage calculator.
Yeah, honestly, because I honestly think that's how we stumbled across
like a lot of financial calculators.
Yeah,
on there
we
really
were
good.
definitely doing financial stuff.
And I was just like, oh my god, they have a weight calculator.
That's a good one. So you know what? We're gonna finish light as always. We always like to finish on a good time, baby. New segment alert.
New segment. Woo!
Woo! New segment. We're going to try this one out. This segment is called Fictional Foods. Now, Barry, would you care to explain?
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to talk about foods that are from fictional stories.
Yeah, foods.
Movies, TV shows.
Like just from all over,
Maybe the occasional book.
Hey, why not, brother? But fictional foods, we're excited to try this one out. I actually think you're trying to look at my paper right now, aren't you? Yeah, I see that. So would you like me to lead off or would you like to lead off?
I'll lead off here.
Okay, I'm going to defer to you here.
So
your serve.
I feel like this is a fictional food that just like when I even say the word fictional food, this is the first thing that pops into my mind.
Okay, so you're going with like a real famous one.
Yeah, and this is one that like I remember since I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to the show will also remember this, but the iconic Krabby Patty.
Ooh, that is a good one. That is actually that's probably one of the most famous ones.
Yeah, it's so iconic, and I remember really like, especially when I was a kid, I was like, I really want a Krabby Patty, and my mom, like, God bless her, she tried to make me hamburgers, and it was like, this is the same as a Krabby Patty, and I'm like, no, you don't get it, Mom. Like, it's not the same as the show. It's a secret recipe. You can't get it. If Plankton can't get the recipe, you can't get the recipe. I'm sorry.
You know what you should have done?
I was a brat.
You know what you should have done? You should have taken it, and then did she ever put like pickles on it?
No, but I also don't like pickles. So,
like, you remember the episode where
like,
you
the
forgot
pickles.
the pickles?
The pickles, Mom.
It just ruins SpongeBob. Oh my! But the Krabby Patty, right, is so cartoon delicious. It looks like. And then there was a whole nother side quest for the Krabby Patty where they put the jellyfish jelly on.
I was gonna definitely mention the jellyfish jelly because I feel like that's an important thing. I think the other thing that people don't take into account is it's this hamburger, but it's underwater, so it's got like that sea salt taste.
Yeah, but is it overwhelming?
I don't know. I don't know how did the buns keep perfectly under the water? I'm sure this has to do with the physics of SpongeBob. They haven't really nailed down. Sometimes they start a fire down there.
That is
sometimes
true.
There's water inside the water.
Sometimes there's rocks that take you to a city.
So maybe this is just part of suspending our disbelief here. But I did look through the SpongeBob wiki to see all of the ingredients of a Krabby Patty. They've never told us what the full recipe is.
Well, true, it's
secret.
But
they do occasionally mention some of the accoutrement.
Ooh,
yeah,
well played.
That
was very smooth.
Thank you. So a Krabby Patty, couple of the regular things: sesame seed bun. Instead of having cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and onions, it has sea cheese, sea lettuce, sea tomatoes, and sea onions.
Interesting.
I don't know what sea cheese is.
I think the sea aspect of all the ingredients is what holds it together.
Yeah.
It's got sea physics in it, Just put the physics in the ingredients, and it goes from there.
It's got pickles, ketchup, mustard, mayo, which like ketchup, mustard, and mayo together is just, I think, too much.
Yeah, three's a crowd.
And then there's the patty and the secret sauce. We don't know what really makes those up. And I'm very interested in finding out what makes this patty, because they're friends with a squirrel. So if they're eating meat, that's concerning, right?
Right. Where are you getting
Yeah, like watch out, Sandy Cheeks.
Like, does the submarine just like come down? It's like, we got your meat, Mr. Krabs. Like,
yeah, or is it fish, which is also pretty fucked up.
or is it because they're eating each other?
Yeah, like maybe that's why
it's not like
Bikini Bottom is like so sparsely populated.
Right, and it's not like they've got sea cows. But here's the thing on the secret formula, though. The people underwater, right? The SpongeBob characters underwater, they don't really know what's going on up there.
Maybe it's just a Big Mac.
What if there was a very brave fish that just figured it out somehow and heisted McDonald's Big Mac sauce and then brought it back down to Mr. Krabs and was like, "I'll sell this to you."
What if there was just a barge of Big Macs that was sunk, and that's where the Krabby Patty formula?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Like the sunken.
But I want to pick your brain about a couple of the special ingredients that they've mentioned offhand, because I don't know whether or not this will taste good. First, there's a pinch of chum, which that's like the stuff that
that's like fish bait.
Yeah, like for sharks.
Yeah, gonna pass.
Yeah, then there's flour, which like on a burger, like you would think that would be wrapped up in the whole bun idea.
Yeah,
but like I guess just flour.
Yeah.
Barnacle shavings. Barnacles are the things on the bottom of a boat.
Yeah. That's a big no. Big no for me.
And then there's salt, turmeric, and of course, the most important ingredient for a Krabby Patty, love.
You can't put a price on love.
And
that's why Plankton never really succeeded. He never put any love into his food.
And the other thing that I looked, because I really like went in depth on the research, what is in a Krabby Patty? Can I recreate a Krabby Patty? And I asked Google, and the writer and co-executive producer had an interview about like what is made in a Krabby Patty. And so to answer that question about do they eat the meat from the land or do they eat the fish, the producer said that it contains no meat whatsoever.
So it's an Impossible Burger.
Basically, I think so.
Maybe it's made out of coral.
Ooh.
Maybe that's it.
And like the jellyfish jelly, like is jellyfish jelly a real thing? Like could I get jellyfish jelly?
I don't think so.
That
doesn't seem like a thing.
I don't think so either.
We're going to look pretty dumb on this one, I think, even by just asking it, because we both don't know.
If anybody knows whether jellyfish jelly is a real thing, please let me know. And if it is a real thing, just kind of direct me to where I could try some.
Yeah. For science.
For
research.
Yeah, I should know.
I really, really liked your pick there.
Thank you. So what did you pick for fictional foods?
Barry, I want to talk to you about the Oscar snub and cinematic masterpiece, An Extremely Goofy Movie. I'm
glad that we both went back to our childhoods for this one.
An Extremely Goofy Movie, Oscar snub. Really, I don't think you've ever seen an Extremely Goofy movie. Have you?
No, that is correct. I have not.
So just a quick plot. Okay. Remember Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
It's that, but in the Goofiverse. Goofy's kid goes off to college to try and be his own kid, and then Goofy's like, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna go back to college," and then just shows up and just kind of fucks up his kid's time. So like,
maybe I'll put that on Disney Plus later.
It's a great movie, family fic. We should watch it together. But here's the thing, and I think this applies to not just the Goofiverse, but also in cartoons in general. But in Extremely Goofy Movie, like Max, like the main character, Goofy's kid, is with his roommates, like his friends from college, and they have a box of pizza. And when they pull up these pieces of pizza, it is just a mountain of cheese just dripping off the end of the pizza. You want to talk about a sexy cheese pull, brother? Like that's what this pizza do. Like, and I rewatched the movie in my bed. Like I watched it, I streamed it because
on your phone?
Yeah, because I thought about that and I was like, man, just cartoon pizza hits. Like and they're just pulling up this cheese pizza, and I just wonder, like, if you were in a cartoon kind of pizza world, in the Goofiverse, if you will.
Yeah.
And you pulled up that piece of pizza, how are you kind of grasping? You don't want to lose that cheese, Barry.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like that might be, if it's that gooey, it has to get to the point where it's like fork and knife.
Right.
I gotta be a classy motherfucker now.
I'm also thinking, because like man, fork and knife and pizza is always a bugaboo for me. Like I just don't like. I know it is for most.
Cheese is that gooey, like.
Well, so part of me, what I'm thinking is like, if I'm alone, I'll just go hand and scoop up like the dropped off cheese and just slap it right on there, and be like, stay, and then I'll just shove into orifice. But maybe you could take the fork or take the knife and like cut it as it's dripping off and then fold it back up. I don't know.
Well, we do know somebody who does just like eat the cheese straight
I
off
was
the
about
pizza
to bring that up. We do know somebody who orders like a whole pizza like uncut. They order this whole pizza uncut and then scrapes. It was when they were in college. They would order an entire pepperoni pizza, extra cheese, extra pepperoni, well done. Okay,
Well done.
and then they would ask for it uncut. Okay, so not
so
cut
no
in pieces.
slices.
It would get delivered, and they would scrape off all the cheese and pepperoni and into a bowl and just
Huh.
go to town.
And just leave the crust, like leave all the bread.
Yeah.
I guess that's carb free.
And Barry, I'm not gonna lie, that blew my mind. Like,
I don't know how I
because
would have
that's
done-
almost like recreating Goofiverse pizza. It really is. And it messed with my psyche for a couple of days. But then I kind of thought about it and I was like, well, I like cheese, I like pepperoni. I don't know.
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to sit by and watch that happen and not ask, can I have all of the leftover pizza that you're not eating?
Can I have that
Like-
that little saucy bread? You
Yeah,
know?
like literally, like if you're gonna have all the cheese, I'm gonna take the sauce and the bread. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna throw that out, are you?
But cartoon pizza, Goofiverse pizza, man, like there's something about cartoon food.
You know what?
That
You talking
really-
about the goofy pizza mixed with me talking about SpongeBob makes me think of
What?
the Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me.
Pizza. Krusty Krab. Pizza is the pizza for you and me.
Oh, I'm so sorry for all the people who had to listen to this on their walk.
And scene. Platinum record coming our way. We're about to be able to do this full time. I really loved that segment.
From the Krusty Krab pizza.
I loved doing that so much. That was really
was a
fun.
good
Folks,
first
let
one.
us know what you think about fictional food.
And send us some of your suggestions.
Yeah, send us some suggestions, your cravings. But you know what, Barry? It's again, like we said at the beginning of the episode, I just had a big kind of anniversary.
Yeah.
And I put it up on my Instagram, and I want to thank you for always just kind of having my back, being in my corner. And like I said to lead off this episode, it's just a great day to be alive.
It is.
It really, really is. And I'm really happy.
I'm glad we're here on the ones and twos.
Always, until the end of the line, brother. You know what, folks? Until next time, I'm Seth.
And I'm Strawberry.
And this is Sorry for the Wait.